going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I know out of 181 sessions, we're honored that you take the time to come meet with us today. My name's Amy Malini. I'm the Parent Services Program Specialist with the Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services, which we call BEES, which is located in the Florida Department of Education in Tallahassee, Florida. Today we're excited to present and partner with some of our regional parent centers. Some regional parent centers that are federally funded. They're our cousins, so to speak. We work very closely with them. April, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm April Katine. I'm the director of the Bureau Resource and Information Center in the Department of Education, Bureau of Exceptional Ed. So,
okay. And we'll be presenting first. Then, if you want to introduce yourself.
Oh, my name's Lynn Sear, and I work with Central Florida Parent Center.
Kathy.
My name is Kathy Powell. I'm with the Northern Region of POPIN, Parents of the Panhandle Information Network.
And we do, before I get started with the PowerPoint, we do have maps here. We have three federally funded. There are three federally funded parent centers throughout the state of Florida, and we've color-coded the map so you can see what your parent center is, and they offer free services such as IEP coaching, resources, and things like that. And we connect parents typically with our parent centers because they do such wonderful work. Okay, we'll move right along. Services provided by BEES. Oh, I'm so sorry. I left Margarita.
I'm Margarita Montalvo. I'm with the Southern Regional Parent Center, the PTI Director for the Southern Regional Florida.
Thank you. Apologies about that. I'll start with BEES, what parent services that we provide in Tallahassee, which is at the state level. We provide, which this is new, very exciting, LRP Special Ed Connect for Parents. That is a website that all of the professionals at the Bureau have access to and the district staff. And we've opened it up to parents. Our Bureau Chief, Dr. Monica Vera-Tirado, felt that it was very important that parents have resources. It's a fantastic website that has everything and anything you can imagine on it as far as DSC, IEP, forms from different states, Smart Starts, which gives you all the newspaper articles on certain topics. It's fantastic. If you have not signed up for this, feel free to, do we have a sign-up sheet here at the booth?
two things. One, I passed this out, so if you don't get by the Department of Education Bureau of Exceptional Ed booth where Kelly Whiting is, that can show you the website, and she can sign you up there. You can always call your Fiddler Center, which is the Florida Diagnostic Learning Resource Center Systems. And I passed out, this is the contact at your local Fiddler Center that can sign you up for this free website. So.
Thank you, April. And once you sign up, you will get a login and a password. So there's some steps that are necessary. But it's fantastic, and we encourage you to contact your Fiddler's person and sign up. The only requirement is that you have a child with a disability. Okay, parent calls. The Bureau takes parent calls from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. There's a program specialist available to speak with you and talk about any concerns or information that you may need. We rotate calls. I have 2 shifts a month. My other coworkers have 2 shifts a month. And if we don't know the information that you're needing, we will find it for you or connect you with a program specialist who can better answer that question. Facilitated Individual Educational Plan. This was something that the Bureau began to train districts in, and April, you could probably speak a little more about that.
So probably about 3 or 4 years ago, we started training school district personnel to, how many of you have heard of a facilitated IEP? Not, okay, several of you. This is a process. It is not a kind of IEP, it is a process that you are taken through that is very respectful of families. It encourages open dialogue between the school personnel and all the members of the IEP team. So if you are having an IEP team that maybe you don't feel is going quite right, or there's some disagreement and you feel like you need a different process to take you through the IEP, you can ask your ESC teacher, your district folks, and say, I'd like to try a facilitated IEP, because right now, every district in Florida has at least some district level person that's been through the facilitated IEP process, and they can do it, and we are finding great results from it, because it's basically taking you through a process that's very respectful, helps communicate, helps resolve problems. So I encourage you, and right now we're starting, actually week after next, we have 10 districts that are training trainers, so it's going to be spreading even more, and we're very excited, because anything that helps resolve conflict and helps you get the services you need for your child is a good thing.
And next is mediation. If you feel that you have an impasse with your IEP team or at the meeting, you can request mediation local or state level, which is state sponsored. If you go the state level route, you can contact our office, which I have a card up here, but the main number is area code 850-245-0475, and you can say you'd like to speak to someone about mediation, and they would connect you with a specialist in our dispute resolution and monitoring section. State complaint process, there's also a formal process for letting us know about your complaints. That's assigned to a program specialist. Then they work with the district and with you to go ahead and see if they can rectify a situation if they find that there are some issues. Last is due process. You want to speak a little bit about that? April has an advocacy background, so she is a bit well.
And the things are listed in order of the quickest and the most non-adversarial, because obviously if you're going to know your rights through LRP, if you're going to call us, and just so you know, when you call, you can talk to a program specialist. We don't necessarily have to call the district. Sometimes just giving you information, empowering you to have what you need to be able to then contact either a school or district level person yourself can often be much more empowering to you, and it can also facilitate good communication rather than sometimes we know when the state calls on your behalf, sometimes, you know, it's not the warm fuzzy you might be hoping for, but sometimes you need something other than a warm fuzzy. Sometimes you need our intervention, and we're happy to do that, but we never call the district without asking you first if you want us to call the district. Of course, facilitated IEP involves the district, but it's a very collaborative thing. Again, as you move down, it's a little less warm and fuzzy and a little bit more, okay, we're having an issue, we need to work through it. So mediation is, it is legally binding and it is confidential. State complaint process, there's a 60-day timeline. So again, you're getting to where we realize you have a child who is going to school every day and living in whatever kind of conflict is going on. So the earlier in the resolution process you can resolve things, the better for you and for your child. But the state complaint is absolutely your right to file a state complaint if the issue is something that IDEA or state of Florida rules, you know, you feel like they're not following, you certainly can file a state complaint. Due process is basically taking the school district to court. It is the most time consuming. It is often expensive, even though the process itself does not cost anything. Often parents get an attorney. There are free or low-cost attorneys in the state you can use, but unfortunately due process, even though there's a timeline for that, often it is extended by special circumstances and things. So again, that is the most time-consuming, often most expensive, so, and often not the most beneficial. Obviously, if you have to go to due process, that is your right to go to due process, but it is not the remedy that is going to be the quickest, or once you get your finding in any of these, your child needs to go back and be able to live in that school and go to school. And so the earlier in the resolution process you can resolve things collaboratively, the better.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, we've made way more than you wanted to know.
We have many discretionary projects. I put 190, but I think I was being a little wrong with my numbers. Basically, we have 90, I believe. But discretionary projects are projects that we fund through federal and state funding. The Family Cafe is one of our discretionary projects, so we're very excited to have that. If you want to view those projects, if you go to the basic web is fldoe.org, and if you type in discretionary projects, it'll take you to all of our projects. Some of them work directly with families, directly with parents, and I have a few slides of those projects. Others work with professionals and train teachers, so there's quite a few. Projects that serve parents, fiddlers. How many of you, by show of hands, have heard of fiddlers? Well, we have a few here. But Fiddlers is one of our projects, and it has 4 prongs, parent liaisons. It has 4 prongs that it serves, but mainly directly with parents. We have parent liaisons in each district. They offer workshops, child find, that's early intervention services, technical assistance with technology they also provide. Fiddlers we refer to as our boots on the ground. They are our go-to people in the district that we contact when we need assistance typically. ESE Parent Survey, how many of you have heard of the survey? The survey is the vehicle in which we gather data for a federal requirement called Indicator 8. And the survey was developed in several other states. They use the same survey. There's online and paper. It runs each year from February 1 to the end of May. If you have a child that's currently in public school and has an IEP and you have not taken the survey, we have them in the back. There's 2. There's a pre-K and a K-12. So feel free to take a survey. It's a bubble it in, and there's an envelope you can put it in, or you can just leave it back there. The survey is anonymous. If you take it online, it does ask for some information. That would be the date of birth, the school, district, and grade of the student. The reason it asks for this information is to avoid any type of duplication or to ensure that the survey is valid. What we provide to University of Miami is a data file that only has student date of birth, school, grade, and district. It doesn't give a name. It doesn't give a disability. So they take that, and that's what they use. And the reason I explain that, a lot of parents we're finding are weary of the online survey. They're scared that there'll be some type of retaliation if the survey can be tied to them, and that's not how it works. But we do also have it in paper form, should you still not feel comfortable with the online versions.
Do you roll that up like this?
Do we what?
Is there a way to get them results?
Yes, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Typically, we would give state results. Then we went to also giving district. Well, this year we're happy to provide school level results. Now these are only for schools that had 10 or more surveys, and that's so that we could preserve confidentiality. You know, if we give them something under 10, it's possible they can figure out who took it. So that's a DOE policy.
Just show them.
Oh, I'm sorry. April had these books put together, which they're by district and then also by school. So at the end of the presentation, if any of you would like to come up and look it up, you're more than welcome. You can also contact your Fiddler's parent liaison within your district, and they can give you the information. But we're very excited to be able to give school level data because we want it to be useful and meaningful for your advisory committees and councils, PTO, PTA. One of our other projects is CARD. Some of you may be familiar with that, and there are different locations throughout the state through the university system, and they are for guidance and resources for families. And your child doesn't necessarily have to have a diagnosis on the spectrum or ASD. They still provide information and resources. The Family Cafe Conference, which we love to come to each year, it's people who are new, I always tell them it's a life-changing experience. You have to come here and experience the positivity and just the resources. It's just a wonderful conference, and you know, we provide the funds, but Lori Fahey and her team do all the work, so we can't take credit for any of that, but we're proud to be a sponsor of it. Fiddlers, I mentioned that earlier. They partnered with Florida Inclusion Network. These are just some other discretionary projects. Learning through listening. SEDNet, Outreach Services for the Deaf and Blind, which they actually have a suite that's open here at the conference. I believe it's in Tower 4. You were telling us earlier, Tower 4. And you can actually go in and look at accessibility, all the new gadgets and programs. So if it's something you want to do, please visit them. Materials and Technology Center for the Deaf, Hard of Hearing. Special Olympics. Project Unify is a new project that we're happy to sponsor, and they do have a booth in the exhibit hall. Then we have Very Special Arts. They also have a booth in the exhibit hall, and they offer art programs for students with disabilities across the state. And if you ever visit us in Tallahassee, we have a beautiful display of artwork on the walls, and it's from VSA. Okay, State Advisory Committee.
Sure. Okay, and some of you, this may be redundant because you were in our last session, but I don't see too many, so hopefully it's not too redundant. The State Advisory Committee is federally required, so every state has basically an advisory committee. It provides guidance to the Bureau of Exceptional Ed as to what's going on out, boots on the ground, out in your district. So you can let us know if you have concerns or things that are really going well. We like to hear that as well, but also what are some problems out there. That's what this State Advisory Committee, the majority of members must be either people with disabilities or parents of students with disabilities. So 51% must be the majority, at least parents with disabilities or people with disabilities. Oh, sorry, wrong way. Oh, I guess that was the only slide. So the one thing I want to say about SAC before we move on is if you are in a small rural district and you're interested in possibly becoming a member on the State Advisory Committee, please let me know and I can send you an application because we are looking for just a couple more parent representatives on SAC, and we're specifically looking for parents in small and rural districts.
Thanks, April. So parent survey results, the 14-15 have not come out. They're still in the process since the survey just closed at the end of May. But we want to share with you last year's results and some work we're doing around it. So what did we learn? The overall results, our target is 75% of positive agreement. That means 75% of parents will respond positively. That means agree, strongly agree, or very strongly agree to the survey questions. For preschool, we were short 1.8%. So 73.2% of preschool parents reported positively to the survey. Now, because we did not meet our target, we'll go ahead and work on supports to address this across the state and try to increase that for the following year. K-12, we met our target. 75.6% of K-12 parents report positively. We did exceed the target by 0.6. Okay, so then we looked at items. It's a 26-item survey. We look at the top 3 and we look at the bottom 3. The top 3, oh, it's where we're doing great, accolades, clap your hands, wonderful. And the bottom 3 are the areas that we're going to work on. We have several work groups together and even got some input in our last presentation we did. But the areas that we scored high in were preschool staff respect my culture, my child's evaluation was written in words I can understand, and staff and service providers value my ideas. So that's warm, fuzzy, good things, great feedback. These are the items that we need to work on across the state. When parents reported preschool staff connected families with one another for mutual support. What we're hearing is families would like a place and a time to exchange ideas, to meet, possibly to have some type of support group, ways to connect. Parents report that they were offered training about preschool education. We're working on areas to address this as well. The trainings, the webinars, they're out there. It's just getting all of the information together and marketing it to parents. And our parent centers are here, and they'll tell you a little bit about their services a little later in the presentation. Lastly, reported that supports were offered to participate in trainings and workshops. So again, it's another area that we're looking at, and we're going to go ahead and address that statewide. Okay, so K-12, the top items, parents reported that written information received was understandable. They also reported that the IEP tells how progress towards goals will be measured. We want to make sure that data is addressed and that parents understand you use that data when looking at progress and goals. They also reported that teachers are available to speak with parents, which is key. You need that connection with your child's teachers. The areas that we'll be working on and focusing on as far as supports, parents were offered special assistance such as child care. Another big one is transportation, so that they could participate in the IEP meeting. We also heard earlier that flexibility with meeting times is a concern, so that's something that we'll be talking to our districts about. Options for parents, who work, and just thinking outside of the box as far as flexibility. The 37.9% reported that school offers parent training about ESC. Again, we're going back to that hub of marketing. How can we all be on the same page and inform parents? Lastly, 31% of parents reported that the school provides information on agencies that can assist my child in the transition from school. Another area that we need to work on, and actually our state advisory committee has taken this on, and they're considering tying in the IEP, if they use the peer system, the online IEP system, tying it in with resources. So if your child has ASD and you check that box, then resources automatically come up and are given to you. So that's all in the early stages. It's just discussion, but we're really looking at these areas and how to offer supports. New for 2015, school level data that are in these books, your districts have them, and a resource list. What we're looking at now is tying resources to each of the questions. So if your district or your school scores low, well, you can turn to the page where all the resources are to help your families increase their satisfaction and agreement with that area. So we're really excited to be able to delve deeper in and provide meaningful and useful information to districts and parents. Okay, questions so far? I know I talked a little fast. Everybody good? Okay.
What was the LRP?
The LRP Special Ed Connect. April,
Okay.
So
Right now, we have, it's completely free. If you have a child with a disability, I pass this out, and it is your contact for your district on how to get signed up for it. It's LRP is a company that provides legal research and information. So especially if you have a young child or if you're new to ESC, it has like a acronym list of every acronym you could ever imagine involved with special ed. It has hot topics. It has hot topics in Florida. It has like current cases, like anything that's going on in the legal world having to do with special ed. It's a really great resource. If you go to our booth, Kelly Whiting is here all weekend, and she can show you the website and she can get you signed up for that resource, or you can go through your Fiddler Center and they will sign you up for it. Completely free. You don't ever have to
sign up for the LRP.
Do. Yes.
To get those resources.
Yes.
Right.
It's
for
a
child who
website.
has a disability.
Yes.
Okay.
It's really for the parents.
Right.
I mean, for the parents to be able to do their own research. This has been going on for a couple of years that the State Department and the districts have had access. And Dr. Monica Vera-Torado, who's the Bureau Chief for Special Ed for the state, really feels strongly about empowering parents to know their rights and know information to be able to communicate with in an intelligent way, because we realize, in my first presentation earlier, people kept saying, you're using acronyms, what do they mean? And we get used to that because we deal with it all day long, and we realize, especially when you're starting out and you have a child first diagnosed with a disability, you may not have the wealth of information. I've been doing this for 32 years. I was a special ed teacher for 14 years. So, I come with a certain level of knowledge,
And so we want you to have that knowledge as well, so you can help your child to get an appropriate education.
Okay, so let me walk through the steps. What I hear you saying is LRP is this service that parents with a child with a disability can sign up for. To do that, they find their representative on here?
You can do it one of two ways. You can either use this paper, find your county, and call the person listed
And say, sign me up for this website.
for LRP. And what they'll do is they will send your name into LRP, and within about a week, they will send you a password and a link to be able to go on the website.
What does LRP stand for?
You know, it's funny, I asked that same question. It's the name of a company, because I called the company and I said, what does the acronym stand for? And they said, it's not an acronym, that's the name, it's like Nabisco, you know. They're called LRP Publications, is the name of their company. So, but we, at the state level, are paying for you, any parent in Florida, to have this.
And it's a fantastic
It's
resource.
fantastic.
I cannot tell you how many
If
times
you
as a
want to see it
professional I
in
get to
action, so if you don't want to, you know, some people say, okay, I don't want to sign up for something, I don't know what it is. Like I said, at the booth, that is our Bureau of Exceptional Education, Kelly White's
Bees booth.
Yes,
Okay.
the Bees booth. Kelly's here all weekend, and she's got her computer, and she'll show you the website so that you'll know if you want to get signed up for it.
Okay, so another question I have is if I have a parent who is looking for help to get an IEP for her son who's already been held back twice, who's not even in second grade yet, looking for resources, can she call the Bees and talk to a program
Yes,
specialist
she
and get
can.
support?
or one of the parent centers. So either one, we're going to get to the parent centers as well.
Okay, and there's a list of resources where she can call the parent center. That's coming up?
That's coming up.
Right.
Next.
In their brochures.
But did you give out our phone number?
It's 850-245-0475, and that is the main line for Bees. I also have business cards up here. We're very good about answering phones, returning phone calls, emails. We really, I say an open door policy, but we really are accessible. So feel free to call that number. Our hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Just a quick comment. I actually received solicitation without even calling or checking with the state for LRP. LRP's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Their business is well established, been around. But it was interesting that I wasn't aware that this was a new service, and I got solicited. So my sense is if you are already on the roll, it's very possible your school system or fiddlers will send you one automatically. I don't know, but that's just, I looked about it 2 weeks ago.
That's good to hear.
And it
That's
is a
proactive.
very good service.
And like I said, anything you can imagine, from news articles to, definitions. I mean, it is just phenomenal. So if you do have time, go by the booth, and it may be under Brick. I'm not sure. Bees or Brick, name of our booth. But anyway, you'll find it's on the corner.
My little one is not turning 3 until February, so would I not be eligible until February to sign up?
That's a good
She's
question.
in early steps
Right.
currently, and we'll start in the school system.
Any child with a disability, so that's fine, yeah.
And this is our first year opening it up to parents, so we're kind of working out things, so we appreciate questions. Yes, ma'am.
What does Bees stand for?
Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services. So that's basically the Department of Education's area that addresses special education. Okay, so parent center presentations. We partner with our parent centers. We're excited to work with them. They are boots on the ground too. They do so much work. And each of them are here. They're going to tell you a little bit about their programs. There are also brochures on the back table, so before you leave, please be sure to take a brochure. As I mentioned, they're regional, so depending on where you live, it will change what center will serve you. Okay, so I don't have any more slides. Okay, so here are the 4. Parents of the Panhandle Information Network. Kathy's here from the to talk about POPIT. Central Florida Parent Center. Lynn Sears here to discuss that. The Penn Parent Education Network. Margarita Montalvo's here. And Parent of Miami is a little different animal, so to speak. They only serve Miami. And we don't have representation today.
And Monroe.
And Monroe, thank you. The other 3 have larger counties, as you'll see by the color-coded map. Okay, so we're going to start with Lynn Sear, and she's going to give you an overview of what Central Florida Parent Center does.
Hey everybody, I hope you had comfortable shoes today. I thought I did, but it didn't quite work that
Did you
way.
use a clicker, or do you need me to click it? Right here, just click it.
Okay. All right. I wrote out what I wanted to say because I tend to go off on tangents, and I don't want to do that today. This is going to be a brief description of what Central Florida Parent Center and Be Aware, which is right in the middle, project is. Now, PTI, because of the acronyms, and I tangent. OT, what's OT stand for? Overtime. Right? My brother said that to me, and I was like, OT, and I went, I'm thinking, since when did he start getting occupational therapy? He's talking overtime. I saw this other thing that said something about the DS vendors. What's DS stand for?
Developmental services.
I have a child with Down syndrome. I figured it was vendors that specifically for Down syndrome, direct sales. Okay, so anyway, the acronyms I get a kick out of. The Office of Special Education Programs split the state of Florida up into 3 regions, as Amy said. So the Northwest Florida, including the Panhandle, is Region 1. South Florida is Region 3, and then the remainder, which includes Central Florida and 6 counties in the Northeast Florida, is Region 2. And our AWARE project serves the 30 counties in there. We stay pretty busy. There's 5 of us who each have 6 counties to support. And I'm going to park here for a little bit. Our mission statement includes 4 words that define not only what we're going to do, but how we're going to do it. And those words are accurate, interactive, quality, and empathetic. So accurate, we're not just going to give out information. We make sure, our mission is to ensure that all the information we do give out is truly accurate and up to date. And if we aren't sure, we're not going to just make something up. We're going to research it for you. Interactive, our training style will not be just stand up in front of a room and lecture like I'm doing right now. Whenever we can. Our presentation is interactive, allowing time for questions and discussion. And then quality, we're committed to providing helpful assistance to each of our families, whether that's by phone, by email, in person, through our website, and using technology. Are any of you familiar with GoToMeeting? We use that tremendously. Empathetic. The support that families receive from us is truly empathetic because we are family members of individuals with disabilities or special needs ourselves. We can truly understand what the families go through. We not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk. So before you can be hired with our company, doesn't matter what your credentials or your level of education is, do you have a child or a family member with a disability? I have a 16-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. Slide 4. These are some of the activities that we do. AWARE stands for Assisting with Achieving Results in Education. And this includes one-on-one assistance, a user-friendly website, volunteer opportunities, outreach programs, activities specifically designed for students, and also those to encourage community collaboration. So the first one, I'm going to kind of talk about each of these for a quick minute. One-on-one assistance, that's our core activity. And this is where we get into a lot of the details with you. For now, know that there are 6 different coaches for the 30 different counties. I'm going to spend another minute on this. For instance, whether it's a brand new person and your child's about to turn 3 a year from now, I don't even know where to start, you know. Everybody, I'm afraid because I keep hearing nightmare stories. And I'm always the first to tell the parents, you never hear the good labor stories. You only hear the nightmare labor, the 3 days of labor, okay? I hardly ever tell people. I walked into a birthing center at 10 o'clock and at 10:30 she was here. Don't you hate me? You don't hear that. Same thing with IEPs, okay? We only seem to hear the disasters. And that's really not the norm. So what we do is we have, you know, depending on what your question is, we may answer it. You may have some documentation. Most of the time what we'll do is whatever you have for documentation, your last IEP, any evaluations, scan, email, or fax, and then we set up what's called that one-on-one meeting. And you basically log into a GoToMeeting. You're looking at the same screen that I'm looking at. So as I'm going through the IEP and I'm explaining to you why why this is here, why that is here, we want to make sure that, you know, page 5 is also reflected on page 8, depending on the services, and going back and forth. This is our core activity. This is our most time-consuming activity. It's not unusual for me to spend an hour or 2 hours easily with a parent to get them to understand their individual IEP. Website. What I do after I'm done talking to you is I usually, you know, it was nice, thank you for calling, it was nice chatting with you. You know, as soon as you get the documents, scan and email them to me. Here's a website, and it's part of our website, but one of them is called I'm New to This. So I will send that out to a parent who is new to this. I also do different little things with, you know, sign up for our webinars, our listservers, depending on how our conversation went. We have different coaching modules, and I may say, okay, you know, we're looking at evaluations. So, you know, when you have a chance, take a look at these take a look at this website, and that'll explain it to you. We have over 200 individual pages, and it sounds intimidating, but it's really very easy to navigate. We have presentations online so that parents and others can attend an informative class session at their leisure at any time, night or day. I say whether you like a cup of coffee in the morning or a glass of wine in the afternoon, you know, in the evening, you're in your pajamas and nobody sees you. So that's the best part about it. We do have volunteer programs. So we have a group of trained volunteers that will call the parents who request an IEP support parent match by filling out a form on our website. And basically our IEP support parents will then call the parent who has requested the match and assist them in getting ready for an IEP meeting. Sometimes it's just, you just need somebody to hold your hand because you know you're going into this meeting and there's going to be 10 of them and 1 of you. At times, that support parent can attend the IEP meeting in person. Most often, the attendance can be provided by phone. And each year, we will advertise for parents to apply to become an IEP support parent, and selected parents are invited to attend a 2-day training to become prepared to assist in helping other parents. And this is a really great training. It's also usually near a beach, which is kind of fun. The other thing I wanted to tell you about that, attending IEP meetings, that's also something we do as IEP coaches. And I always tell the parents right up front, let me explain to you who we are and what we do. If you're looking for somebody to go toe-to-toe with the school right now, I'm not that person for you, okay? If you look up the definition of an advocate, that's a person who speaks for somebody else. I'm an IEP coach. You, as the parent, are the best advocate for your child. Okay? Now, there are advocates out there that you can pay for. We're in free service because we are federally funded. We teach you to be the advocate with that whole spirit of collaboration. Okay? Whether the child is 3 years old or 5 years old, I mean, you're looking at having anywhere from 12 to 15 years of dealing with the school system. Do you really want to start doing this from day one? Not really. And most of the people, I mean, I learned a long time ago, it is not a we against them. Most people that are in special education are there because they have a passion, almost as passionate as your own. So, and God forbid, I mean, God help these people. The burnout rate is high. I don't want them leaving. I don't want to go after them attacking, okay? We want to be able to work collaboratively. Outreach. We have parents who are we do have an outreach department that reaches out to underserved, including low-income parents, parents of limited English proficient children, parents with disabilities, parents of children attending high-poverty schools, and persistently low-achieving schools. Parents' children who may be inappropriately identified as having disabilities, will be made aware of and have access to services, especially those provided by our project. We have 2 new positions, our multicultural liaison for outreach to the African American families and our Hispanic liaison for outreach to Hispanic families. We have we have a brand new hire, student activities. Any of you in here know who Tom Nurse is? We hired his daughter, Shelby, and she basically runs, she offers peer support through a student website and disseminates our information using social networking such as Facebook and Twitter. Planet Aware provides webinars which include such topics as procedural safeguards and transitions. So it's really very cool having her on our team so that she can, also be working with students directly. I love that picture because when you're reviewing IEP documentation, that's what it feels like as a parent. You're looking at the documentation and it can be so overwhelming. But when you're talking with somebody, one of the, if you leave with nothing else today, before your meeting, call the school and say, can I have a copy of all the documents that we're going to review? By law, the schools don't have to do it. Best practices says they will. Most of them will. The nice part is you're getting these documents ahead of time and you can read them in the comfort of your own home, make notes in the margins, highlight them. That's what we as IEP coaches help you do, okay? We come up with an agenda so that all of that, your questions are addressed. That way you're not sitting there and seeing this for the very first time, trying to read it, digest the information, process it, and come up with a question. And guess what? You've only got an hour and a half for this whole IEP meeting. So when you do it ahead of time, now you're creating that collaborativeness. And you can even give them copies of your questions because it's not like you're hitting them over the head with a bat. You're just trying to get clarification on this IEP and, give some of the input. Parents often share that they are overwhelmed by the IEP process, but that is what we do. We're trained to provide information and support to parents, and this assistance includes reviewing a student's IEP documentation, helping parents identify and prioritize their concern. So if you are in the Central Florida and any of these green counties, we do have brochures in the back, and you're welcome to take them. And thank you for taking this afternoon.
Questions?
Well, actually, Amy, let's keep going and let's save questions till the end because we're kind of running out of time.
Okay. Kathy and Margarita are going to present together. Both their programs are separate, but they're housed under Founding Network on Disability.
Amy, is your name? Somebody's asking.
Oh, Lynn.
Oh, Lynn, C-O.
C-Y-R.
We the other two have PTIs. We have Central Florida, we have Northern Florida, and South Florida. I'm the co-director of the South Florida PTI, and Kathy is the director of the Region 1 PTI. We're housed under Family Network on Disabilities. Family Network on Disability is parent organization, is family driven. We've been in assistance for 30 years in the state of Florida.
These are some of the other programs that are housed under the umbrella of Family Network on Disabilities. PEP is in South Florida. Margarita, you could probably speak a little bit better on PEP.
PEP is
for that area.
Yeah, PEP is a program that works with families that are migrant. Mainly, it's in right now housing in Immokalee, in the area of Southwest Florida. We work very close with PEP, and exclusive to work with migrant community.
Family Star, that program focuses a lot on more involved medical issues for children with disabilities and the insurance component of it. We have a advocates program. Several of our parent trainers are fathers of children with disabilities, so they are able to help pull together some support groups. And then we have our National School Trust from when your child is getting to the age where you are starting to be concerned about guardianship and how that money is going to be managed through Social Security and their living situation and so forth. So we have many partners in the community to help us support our families that we connect with. The first one is school districts, and we'll go through all of them, local and statewide agencies, task force committees and boards and support groups, and faith-based communities. With school and districts, we really like to connect with the district, but at the school level, so that we can be in, maybe invited by PTA or a media center local, so that travel is not difficult for families. So we like to try to set up some workshop series in the schools. We also are well-trained. We're trained in facilitated IEPs, so we understand the process. Our goal is to help families understand that collaboration between school and parents, give them the language that they may not have so that they feel confident at their own IEPs, and also make sure that the schools, if they need some in-service, that we are available as well, giving them the parent perspective in many ways. We are connected with FSU and FAMU in the Northern region, where we have a program called Family as Faculty. And we gather parents together as a panel, and we present to up-and-coming teachers. So, for example, FSU, we do Department of Ed kids and communication kids that are learning how to be speech therapists. And FAMU will get that occupational therapist and physical therapist. So they start to hear the stories of the parent perspective early, and hopefully start to keep that in mind as they're coming up to graduation.
And in the southern region, we have the
Our
same
CNA.
thing with Nova University. So I just wanted to make sure. And
Yeah.
also, I wanted, when you're talking about communities, one thing that we have is we have parent points of access. And these that we have resources in areas where underserved communities are. For example, we have a parent points of access in Immokalee. We have a parent points of access in Miami-Dade, the Redneck Community Migrant Associations, which is in the Miami area. We also have a parent points of access in our Creole community in Little Haiti in Miami. So this is one way when the families, feel comfortable in the community that they live in. We have the resources there. We come to them and offer them the training and the supports that they need. Because a lot of our families really, especially in the migrant communities, they feel comfortable in their location. So that's one way that we outreach those communities.
We have over 30 different workshops that help families understand various components of IEP, but we also like to pre-teach on things like positive behavior supports and what is differentiated instruction and learning styles and how your child learns differently, so that you understand the pieces and parts before you get to the IEP meeting. We collaborate with various different state agencies, especially when we do our larger conferences and when we do our resource fairs. But we also attend a lot of their trainings, because we always want to make sure that we're getting the most updated information. We don't pretend to be content experts, anything on everything. We direct traffic, and if we don't know the answer, we will connect with an agency that knows, in many of the discretionary projects that DOE or a lot of our collaborators that help. So sometimes we may just refer them right over to that agency. Task force committees of boards, again, we're in quite a few of those committees. The strategic planning meeting at DOE we're involved in various ESC advisory meetings that we attend in each district. But we also make sure that our parents know which meetings and committee meetings they can be involved in, where they can help make change, whether it be parent involvement or policy changes or curriculum changes, where they can feel like they have a voice and they can participate. So we're always sharing that through our listserv, so parents are aware of where they can help. And support groups, faith-based communities, we attend quite a few support groups of varying different disabilities. One, to learn from them as well, but also we have a program called Learning as Leaders, where we help them kind of take their support groups to the next level if they have a mission statement, to help them achieve that mission and get the resources they need. There's one in the western part of the Panhandle that is actually wanting to start a school, so helping them understand what supports they would need in that arena. The faith-based communities, we connect for outreach, of course, but we also want to make sure that families understand the importance of inclusion in ministries, that they don't have to be separated, that we can help those ministries include your children.
One thing that we really, one of our favorite workshops that I think has really made a big difference is we have what we call the IEP Academy. And it's really very intensive because one of the things that we tell the parents, the main thing that you need to know is the documents. You need to learn that because everything else comes second. And with the families that I service with in my counties, we really needed something intensive because a lot of our parents really don't participate in the IEP. They're really fearful. So the IEP Academy, it's been very, very successful to us because we've taught many parents, and parents have connected with each other and they have become a support system. When we began the Parent Academy, we began we did it for a week. We had the parents come in, bring in their own IEPs. We went step by step from the beginning to the end, but the whole document with the name, why is this here, all of the services. Parents came, they left with homework. So it was a training experience. At the end, everyone graduated. So it became a nice event. A lot of parents felt happy, felt to learn something that they never felt comfortable with. So that to me has been the best of one of the workshops that we provide. We provide many, but that's been the most successful because we've been seeing parents being advocating for themselves, not needing someone to be holding their hands. Yeah, we get a call, and the best thing is that they could call you for advice, but you don't have to sit in that IEP. So that's one of the good things.
I did it call.
Exactly, and that's it. That's one of the things that as a PTI, that's the main thing we like to do. We like to empower the families because, I have in my district, I have 3 of the largest districts in the nation. I have Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So imagine Miami-Dade alone, there's over 45,000 students in ESC. I cannot attend, our staff cannot attend all of those IEPs. So to work with that community, it's bringing big conferences. We do mini conferences. We do in the community in Miami-Dade, we do an event called Festival Educativo. And it's a Spanish event all day. Everyone, in fact, we've gotten people that we have to translate the opposite. The whole conference is geared to the Spanish community. It's just the family will feel comfortable and connect with other families in the community. And Kathy's been doing the same in her district. So that's just to get to the idea of how we work in our
So we do the workshops and provide a lot of hands-on activities. Sometimes it's just a matter of having a workshop where we're helping them organize, helping parents organize their IEPs and evaluations and progress monitoring, and there's a lot. And as the years go by, things get put in shoe boxes and such. So sometimes we're putting things and helping them, putting them in binders and helping have things because sometimes that's just enough to organize the parent. But we also have the technical assistance component, like Lynn mentioned, where we're taking those phone calls, and we get probably between emails and phone calls, I would say maybe 20 a day times. We have
more than that. I get over 100.
So we
Between
help.
our staff, we get a lot.
So we help with resources. We're connecting. We're sharing evidence-based information from OSEP, which stands for Office of Special Education Programs, the federal funding that we get. They have a multitude of resources. We're sharing Florida Department of Education resources. We have our folder on our laptop. We're sending things as it applies to your needs, and we're also sharing a lot of our own personal successes because we are parents, either related or parents of children with disabilities. So. I might get a call of someone that has a child with Down. So there's another parent trainer at Penn that has a child with Down. So we share parent trainers as it applies. I have a child with autism and a child with ADD. So we kind of take those families that they can relate to us the best, and we share our stories. And sometimes it is just talking on the phone and saying, "Yeah, my son was kicked out in preschool." Yeah. And helping them hear the process of how we kind of came out on the other end sometimes, and now the families say, "I can do this, I can start this." So,
well, another thing that we do is we try to, because we cannot expect that all of our family have access to a computer or have access to internet, so we try to gear in all of our trainings and workshops so they can accommodate our families. So if a family needs a one-on-one, we will sit with that family one-on-one. If the family needs for us to meet somewhere where it's more, they will feel safe and secure, that's where we'll go. Our main focus is to work for the community that we serve.
I'm all about meeting for coffee. And I love Gadsden County because I get to meet
Well, in Miami,
Spanish food.
in Miami, it's cafecito. So
Yeah. We also have webinars. In fact, we're starting a summer webinar series that We'll share the flyers with you for the summer. And we're also doing parent workshop series in libraries throughout Leon. Is anybody from the northern region here?
Definitely.
Oh, wow. And you're from what county? Duval. Okay, good. Yeah, so we'll have some webinars, and we'll also, in Leon County, we'll have a library, 4 different libraries where we're going to be rotating the workshop series.
So Kathy, I have a quick question. How do you get your information out? How can they hear about what's going on with your center?
We have a extensive listserv, so I'll hopefully collect your emails, and then also through Amy. But we also advertise with different agencies. We post things on APD's website, Tallahassee Connect, various community websites as well. But we also have our calendar, and I'll share that website with you at the end.
You have about 4 minutes.
So real quick, and I hate talking about what we don't do,
Yeah,
but just so we know, we're not attorneys.
no,
do
we are
provide-
like one either. We're not like attorneys.
We're also not teachers, but we share successes and things that have worked because we were collaborative with our child's teacher and how those things can help your child. And we do provide support, information, and help identify options, and that really is from being collaborative with other agencies in the school. Do you want to,
Penny's in the southern region. Like I said, we have 9 counties that we serve. We serve, I can tell you here, Monroe, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. That's the eastern side of southern Florida. The western side we have, I forgot Martin. We also do, we have Collier, Lee, Henry, and Glades. So, and that's the southern region. One of the things I talked about Festival Educativo, I just came from a Creole festival, which it's for our Creole community, which is very large, and I've discussed the parent points of access.
Poppin is 28 counties, and I won't pretend to name them all. They're right there, blue. They're blue.
The blue.
We also have a conference actually coming up on August 15th in Gadsden County, so we'll be helping our underserved in providing them all Spanish workshops. We talked about families, faculty, and then our academic summit we have once a year as well. We had it in April, and that's where we look at the IEP and we focus on one particular domain. So a couple years prior, we focused on reading because Florida standards were changing and the more rigor was affecting some of our kids on the spectrum and dyslexia, children with dyslexia. So we invite a keynote to speak on struggling readers and how reading strategy can help them. This year we focused on more of the social emotional, and we brought a keynote that spoke on psychomotor sensory processing, which is really neat. She had everybody up out of their seats and really helped those families understand what it was to deal with the sensory issue. And here's our website. We have online trainings that you can access. Our calendar's there. Feel free to, all our information is in the back. If you need any resources from us, I will email our workshop series to you. And
We have CDs in the back where all our workshops are in there. They're in trilingual, in English, Spanish, and Creole. We also have some brochures and some booklets, so feel free to see. And we have tip sheets on transition and some other books in the back.
thank you.
Thank you.
I have my card if anyone needs more information.
FNDUSA.org. Any questions before we wrap up? Okay. Well, thank you again. I hope you walk away with more information than what you came in with. At the back is the K-12 survey, pre-K survey. If you're interested and have not taken it, feel free to take that. And there's also bureaus from both the parent office three of the Parent Center programs back there as well.
And remember tomorrow at 11, I believe it's in Boca 5, but check your program. Monica Vera Torado, the Bureau Chief for Exceptional Student Education, will be talking, and so we hope you'll come back for that to meet your Bureau Chief.